Hello and welcome to Talking Points here on Balls.ie, our weekly GEA show in partnership with Sky Sports GEA. We're here every Monday to look back on the GEA weekend that was. I'm Mick McCarthy. Mark Farrelly, my co-presenter, was in Canada last week. This week he's been consigned to the subs bench. He's looking forward to the qualifiers. Back with us again, luckily to say, is Gavin Cooney, also of Balls.ie. Gavin, how are you?
Very well, and even better after another great championship weekend. We've now finally seen every county in action at Waterford and Roscommon with the stragglers, as they're finally in action. We're going to start with Saturday night's game on Sky Sports, however, between Kildare and Meath. Kildare were comfortable winners, and the most impressive performer was their full forward, Daniel Flynn. He was naturally man of the match, and he gave this really very breathless interview to Damien Lawler of Sky after the game.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it will be. We had a good, strong win in the first half, and we're going to utilise that well. We missed an awful lot as well, and we were very west. I think we missed 1-8 or something like that. That was said to us. So we were slow to get going, but then we kicked on.
They came back at you in the second half, and you kind of steadied the ship a small bit. But was it hard to maintain the pace and tempo that you had in the first, Daniel?
Yeah, it was. It was frantic. One of the lads said it to me coming in off the pitch with some pace. We were all wrecked. Everyone was like, the heat as well had a huge bearing on it. But yeah.
You're still wrecked. You came back from Australia a couple of seasons ago, and I presume you came back for days and evenings like this.
Yeah, definitely. The Laois game, the first round, quarter final of the Leinster, was a big step for me. Like, I haven't played championship since I think it's our own match in 2013, so it's fantastic to be back playing and to be playing well.
With the coaching that you have, with the style of game plan that you have, it looks like there could be exciting days ahead for Kildare. You won't get too far away with the Leinster final ahead as well.
No, we won't get carried away. Like, yeah, you just take every game as it comes. We were nervous going into the Laois match. We were nervous going into today's match. No doubt you're going to be nervous going into a Leinster final. But it's great to be playing football. Everyone's just enjoying it. I know myself personally, it's just fun again. And it's hard to get that the way it's gone now, but it's great.
Yeah, great stuff there. Brilliant performance, I thought, from Daniel Flynn. Just amazing to see him back. He left in 2013. He was actually the first drafts pick of Ty Kennelly's new, at the time, draft system in the AFL. And I think that it's been forgotten about somewhat, that like he's been missing from the Kildare team from the last couple of years. But what a forward they have in their hands there.
Yeah, and players coming back is a bit of a theme for this Kildare team. We had called it the lost generation. It's now the almost lost generation, found generation, which works better.
Yeah.
But Kevin Feely is back in midfield. He was playing soccer over the water, and obviously Paddy Brophy as well. So that's huge for Kildare. Huge,
and they were very, very good and put up a big score against Meath, and they put up a big score against Laois as well. So it's amazing to see Kildare have that sort of attacking prowess again that we've been waiting a long time for them to have. Meath, on the other hand, you seen Flynn there after the game was a little bit out of breath, and as Peter Canavan said on Sky, Andy McEntee would have liked to see a few of the Meath lads that out of breath. It was a pretty poor performance, very abject, especially in the first half. Game was over at half time, and as Peter Canavan analyses the Kildare goal in the first half here, you'll see just what went wrong with Meath.
We will pick up on a point that Jim has just made. It is the space being afforded to the Kildare forwards by Meath, the point you both made before the game. You also referenced Kildare's movement in the forwards. Paul Early said in commentary, it's a joy to behold, and that led to Colin McNally's goal.
We said if there was going to be the same space left in front of this Kildare forward line, they would destroy him. 34 possessions, Jim, that Brophy and McNally have. 34 possessions for the two inside men, unheard of in the modern game, but that's what's happening. I think the Kildare goal typifies the space that was in front of them. I'm going to highlight the way they're playing. They're playing with two men up front, Brian, in the full forward line, Brophy and McNally, and they're playing with two half forwards, Niall Kelly and Slattery, along the half forward line. So that's the system. That's the way they're playing up. And just have a look at the space that will be in front of these full forwards. Again, in the modern game, very seldom would you see that. And as this passage of play develops, Brian, yeah, I want you to keep an eye on the movement of the inside of the goal scorer, Cathal McNally. Already, even though the ball's 70 or 80 yards down the pitch, he's thinking of how can I get away. He's on the move, he's making his first run. Doesn't work out, the ball doesn't get coming in, but he doesn't stop at that. He's away again. This time he gets it, he gets past his marker, and the ball's in the back of the net. People are wondering, maybe, are Meath not playing a sweeper? Meath are trying to play a sweeper, and different times there's different players getting back. Sometimes it's a centre back, sometimes it's a half forward, and in this case he is trying to get back, but simply too late. And when there's quality ball played in, then it doesn't happen. And there he is, he's floundering coming back. He's looking behind him when he should be in covering. So if you're going to leave if you're going to leave that amount of space in front of your full-backs, it's going to prove costly.
That's a serious problem defensively for me, and it's more of a systems failure as much as anything. Like individually, some of the defenders actually played relatively well. Mickey Burke kept Niall Kelly to a point, I think, but just this systemic collapse. I mean, they conceded 3-9 against Louth, who are now out of the championship, leaked some massive scores against Kildare actually in the league. So that's a huge worry as they go into kind of a very difficult looking qualifier draw.
Yeah, 5 goals down. There was a lot of optimism in Meath. They scored 27 points against Louth, but that defensive system just really struggling. But we should move on to, there was a lot of big games yesterday, and the hurling in particular in Thurles, where minnows of the game, Cork, really, you know, the star of the success. They've already beaten Tipperary, All-Ireland champions. Then they come up against a much vaunted Waterford team. Unbelievable stuff, really, from a team that you just expect nothing from year on year. Their fans after the game, I mean, they've been so starved of success. I don't know if they've ever been there for a Munster semi-final win. They couldn't even wait for the final whistle to get on the pitch to celebrate. That footage from Cork's Red FM there.
I'm going to cut across you because I'm not having this idea of a Cork famine. Like 2016 was a kind of a bad year, all right. But in 2015 they got to a league final, a Munster title in 2014, and they got to an All-Ireland final in 2013. Actually had 2 of them because it went to a draw. They've been in 3 Munster finals in 5 years. No other county has been in so many. There've been no strikes as well in the last few years, which is pretty good for Cork. It's been bar 2016. It's really not been that bad.
Yeah, I think after they lost the semi-final, they got hammered to Tipperary in the 2014 semi-final. And it's been just kind of all downhill from there. And I think it quickly became a narrative of a down period in Cork hurling, just because that was such a bad defeat and kind of everything went wrong from there. You know, so but like they're pretty much back now, and all joking aside, they were very good yesterday, and they were very good. Yeah. The last day as well, and they're All-Ireland contenders now.
Yeah, as ever, there's a flip side with these things, and the performance of Waterford was weirdly anemic. What went wrong?
Yeah, well, for me, Waterford, like, they didn't really play too well, but my worry with them always is the limitations of their system when things aren't going well. There was a moment with like 10 minutes, I think it was in injury time actually, it was 5 minutes injury time, they're 5 points down, and a long ball comes in, and the entire Waterford full forward line, such as it is, was about 35 yards from goal. Yeah, there's nobody inside. They don't seem to be able to adjust to do a plan B to hit it into Maurice Shanahan and see if we can load the forward line and do something. I'd always worry about that. I'd always worry about the fact that they can't adjust if they're behind from games, and a lot of people said that after the game yesterday. If you look at Austin Gleeson as an example, he has that amazing piece of skill that like is on all the highlight reels, probably the type of thing that wins him Hurler of the Year last year. He's probably the best 5-minute hurler in the country, you know, and it's not always the 5 minutes that you want them to be there for, but where is he when the game's in the melting pot? Like, he's not always gone away, but it's too often. And if you're like Derek Graham, Waterford, you're kind of thinking, right, he's our best player. Is he the catalyst? Is he the guy who's kicking us on? And I think that's kind of systematic of a general problem with Waterford. Like, I think they're better than they were yesterday. They're a lot better than they were yesterday, and they could easily come back from this. And they've got, like, they're in the qualifiers with God only knows who now, and it could be really tough. But they're a very good team. But I don't know if they can ever get to that last level unless they kind of have a proper plan B that they've worked on and that they know how to react to situations.
Yeah, one county that have been listening to the same manager for quite a while, and it's certainly not holding them back, is Tyrone. Comfortable winners against Donegal earlier that day in the Ulster Championship semi-final. To what do Tyrone owe this magnificent success? There are lots of explanations out there. We think it's down to the fundamental human principle of look the part, be the part.
Yeah, so GAA teams normally arrive to games in like tracksuits and t-shirts, you know, no more. I've never really seen that before. They did it in the last round against Derry as well. It's interesting mind shift change, like it's like maybe it's like you're getting ready for work, we're all dressed as a team. I don't know what it is.
Even the shoes are the same,
even
by the
way? Shoes are all the exact same. Yeah, it's like a team arriving for a cup final or something, isn't it? It reminds me though of in Friday Night Lights when coach Eric Taylor had to, you know, ship those East Dillon boys into shape, you know, and he said you're arriving to game day in a suit and tie, shirt and tie, you know, and it's like I don't think they lost another game. So if that's, you know, if Mickey Hart's taken tips off Coach Taylor, Tyrone are guaranteed to win the All-Ireland.
You were impressed by the pre-game attire, less so during the game.
Well, this is an ongoing thing with Tyrone, right? So you'll see there, this is going back to 2013. I actually asked on Twitter yesterday, and I was given the answer that apparently the county board back in 2013 decided that Tyrone would no longer wear red shorts because they wanted to go back to their original colours.
Okay.
Now, for me, original be what it is. Tyrone have had all their success as a county, all their Ulsters, all their All-Irelands wearing red shorts. That's what Tyrone games look like. I don't even recognise that team out there. It's been okay for a couple of years because they haven't been very good. Last year they showed some signs, and I'm thinking, all right, are Tyrone going to win an All-Ireland in all white? I just don't like it.
We don't think so. It's a spurious reason to.
Colours. What's the point?
It's a spurious reason to go back to tradition as well, because I mean, if like Cork could do that and go back to blue. I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
They've red because they've won loads of things wearing red, and Tyrone should as well. On the topic of blue jerseys, Waterford footballers wore their chain strip for the first time, I think, ever. I really like that.
Yeah, I think it looks like a goalkeeper strip, but like I'm giving out about everything at the moment. So
I'm a big fan.
Another team who are wearing away jerseys all the time these days for no reason.
I'm not totally against that.
Yeah.
There was another game yesterday at 3:30 in the afternoon where Roscommon blew away Leitrim in the Connacht Championship semi-final. This game was notable for Roscommon entering a brave new era of pre-game shows at Dr. Hyde Park. This features their former footballer Ronan Brady. That is notable for being a pre-game show rather than a halftime show. So we are showing a little bit of respect for the age-old Gaelic tradition of 6-year-olds kicking ball around at halftime.
Yeah, you always respect the sanctity of the primary game at all costs. But unfortunately, like the Roscommon Twitter account before the game sold it as a halftime show.
Okay.
So maybe half-time in the GAA is the time in between the minor game and the senior game, you know. But I was kind of looking forward to a half-time show. I was thinking, like, you know, a half-time show, you have half-time show at the Super Bowl, and you have half-time show at the Hyde.
I like that. I like half-time at the Hyde. I think that's sellable.
It looked like a good half-time show. I mean, that wouldn't be out of place at the Super Bowl now. Like, I don't know who else. Who are the other contenders for next year?
Taylor Swift. Can I say that direct to camera? Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And I also
she might probably get the nod, but I don't know, I think they'd be having a second look at Ronan Brady.
UEFA could also learn quite a lot from that, by the way. They only gave Ronan Brady a small little bit of ply in the middle of the field and allowed both players warm up either side, whereas we saw the Black Eyed Peas at the Champions League take up the whole pitch and leave the players stewing in the tunnel before the game.
Needless to say, both UEFA, the NFL and basically everyone else could learn a lot from
Roscommon GAA.
Yeah, and Roscommon GAA. So one of the games to talk about yesterday was the kind of predictable blowout in the Leinster hurling semi-final in Portlaoise between Galway and Offaly. Probably the most notable thing that happened in that game was that there was 5 minutes injury time played, and to noticeable groans from the crowd. I mean, you could hear it even on the radio coverage. Mark Gallagher there mentioning it. 5 minutes added time announced over PA here at O'Moore Park to gasps of disbelief and outrage. Galway 32 points, Offaly 110. I think that kind of sums everything up for Offaly hurling at the moment. Brian Wheelahan, Offaly legend, one of the greatest hurlers of all time, was inducted into the Leinster Hall of Fame before the game, and then that's what the kind of current team go out and do. It's sort of just sad to see, really. They're a long way off where they were when Brian Wheelahan was hurling. Yeah,
we do have a good news story to follow that. Longford,
for you.
Longford, my own county, if that wasn't clearly obvious by the massive grin currently on my face. 9 first-round qualifier wins in a row. The third weekend of June is our fiefdom. It's our third weekend of September.
Absolutely, yeah. If it was 2 months later, you'd be regular All-Ireland champions at this stage.
Now, naturally,
3 months later?
Naturally, the winning of the first round of the qualifiers does necessitate us like a slavish dedication to losing in Leinster all of the time. So we haven't been past a quarter-final in Leinster.
It's an incredible record, though. Like, honestly, to win nine years in a row in the first round of the qualifiers is quite insane. And God bless Derry if they come close to you again. You know,
already beaten them twice.
Derry,
Mayo.
Derry. You've had good record over Mayo. Poor old Longford, though. They can't win a Leinster Championship game, but
that's worth it for the third weekend in June.
Right. I want to get on to our favourite part of the show. This is what the people are calling for. It's our GAA Fan of the Week. You've got the first nomination.
Yeah, I really like this fan taking in probably an Offaly native taking in the Kildare Meath game on Saturday from the roof. you know?
I don't know about that. Like, I mean, that person hasn't even paid into the game. I don't know how much of it. Like, they've gone a long way. We've talked about fine GA traditions on this show a lot, of getting in front of cameras and whatnot. But like, I mean, it's not bad to get the ladder out. Like, it's a little bit of commitment, but like, pay the 15 quid to stand in the terrace. Like, it's right beside your house, you know. Bring a few sandwiches, have a day out. I'm going for a guy from your own county, actually. This man, who he may look like Professor Dumbledore when he was played by Richard Harris. Not less so, I think, Michael Gambon, but
yeah, definitely,
you know, definitely a bit of a Dumbledore look about him. A proud Longford man, actually refusing to shave his beard until Longford lose a first-round qualifier. But unfortunately, he has never, in all his years, seen Longford win a Leinster Championship match, which is kind of disappointing for him, you know. So I think he'll hang in there for another while until he manages that. But
I like him. I quite like this guy as well. I like a guy who turns up to these grounds knowing he's going to be photographed. As this very slick-looking guy, he's got the shades, got the starched collar, got these inexplicably large headphones.
Hold on. That's Sky Sports commentator Dave McIntyre.
Oh, okay.
That might explain the headphones. So yeah, he's looking sharp though.
Yeah. Well, we can't give him fan.
No, he can't win. Right. So who gets it?
Are we gonna? Well, I don't.
I think we might do a
biased
rollover.
if I give it to the Longford guy. So
yeah. I don't know. I think there's no fan of the week this week. We're going to do a rollover. We'll find some Dub fan, you know, painted blue in the hill next week with a Bowron or something. Yeah. So
bring in Bowron, Dubs fans.
Yeah, you've plenty of chance if you're on the hill next week to win it. But that is unfortunately all we have time for today. We will be back with you next week. Enjoy the sunshine, and we'll talk to you next Monday.